A cold wind howled through the thick orange fog. The ground trembled slightly under his body. He opened his eyes, but saw nothing, just mist, swirling like smoke. His face stung from the cold. His helmet visor blinked with red warnings. Oxygen, 23%. Suit integrity, compromised. He didn't know his name. He didn't know how he got here. He tried to sit up. Pain shot through his chest. His right leg was numb. A strange sound echoed nearby, like metal scraping against metal. He turned his head slowly. In the distance, shapes moved behind the fog. Tall, thin shapes. Watching who's there, he said, but his voice was weak. The helmet muffled it. No one answered. He checked the suit again. The patch on his shoulder read TSA, Titan Survey Authority. That name felt familiar. A flash of memory. A shuttle, a storm, someone screaming his name. Gone. He reached for a small device on his chest. The screen flickered. A map. One red dot blinked, Shelter 7. It was only 0, 6 kilometers away. He had to move. Gritting his teeth, he pulled himself up. The landscape was dim, bathed in orange and brown. The ground was rough ice and strange, black rocks. Above, Saturn loomed like a silent god behind the clouds. As he limped forward, the fog seemed to move with him, always thick, always hiding something. The shapes were gone now, but the sound remained. The slow, scraping noise. Closer. He kept walking. Minutes passed. The cold bit deeper into his limbs. He thought about removing his helmet to breathe easier, but something deep inside screamed, "No, not here. Not on Titan." Suddenly his comm crackled. "Do you copy, Shelter 7? Incoming signal, unknown source." He stopped. His heart pounded. The voice wasn't his own. It was female. Calm. Robotic. Then it repeated. "Shelter 7. Incoming signal. Unknown source." He looked down at the map again. Shelter 7's beacon blinked faster. But now, 2 more dots appeared. One green. One black. The green one moved. It was coming toward him. The black one didn't move at all. He picked up the pace, dragging his leg. Each step hurt. His breath fogged the visor. His heart thudded in his chest. Then he saw it. A low dome, half buried in ice and rock. Shelter 7. Its outer lights blinked weakly. One door was open, hanging crooked. He stumbled inside. Warm air hit his face. The lights flickered. Old furniture, broken gear, dust everywhere. The shelter had power, but barely suit integrity failing. "Oxygen low," the robotic voice warned. He dropped to his knees, pulled the helmet off, gasped in the warm, clean air. It tasted metallic, but it was safe. He looked around. A metal desk. A bed. A terminal, glowing faintly. And something else. A message, scribbled in thick red letters on the wall. "Don't trust the green dot." He stared at the words. His mind raced. The green dot. The one coming toward him. He looked at the terminal. A file was open. One line blinking on the screen. "You are not the first to wake up here." Behind him, the shelter door creaked. Footsteps. He turned around. A figure stood in the doorway, wearing the same suit. The same badge. But the face behind the visor was his own. Elias froze. The figure stepped into the shelter, fog curling around its boots like fingers. The suit was identical. Every scratch, every patch. The same faded TSA logo on the shoulder. Its visor reflected the flickering lights, hiding its face. But Elias knew. It was him. The figure lifted one hand slowly and pulled off its helmet. Elias stared into his own face. Same eyes. Same scar on the left eyebrow. Same short black hair. But something was wrong. The skin looked too perfect. The smile, too calm. And the eyes, completely empty. The copy spoke. "Don't be afraid. You're awake." "That's good." Elias backed up, stumbling into the desk. "What are you?" "I'm what comes after waking," the copy said. "And we don't have much time." The black dot is already watching. Elias's breath caught. "What does that mean?" "You've been trapped, Elias, not just here, in loops. You've died hundreds of times, crashed, frozen, drowned in methane lakes, torn apart in storms. Each time the fog resets you. That's not possible. The copy tilted its head. You've been part of Titan's dream. It uses your mind to build this place. That shelter, that message. Me. None of it is real. Not even this body. Elias stared, trying to breathe. You're saying I'm in a simulation? The copy nodded once. But it's breaking. That's why you saw me. Why you heard the broadcast. Something inside you is waking up. Something Titan can't control. I don't remember any of it, Elias whispered. You're not supposed to. The lights in the shelter flickered violently. A loud hum shook the walls. The copy stepped forward and placed a hand on Elias's shoulder. You can escape. But only if you reach the core. That's where they built the signal tower. The DMU buried it deep under Titan's crust. The only real thing left. The rest, this shelter, this body, your memories, it's all the fog Elias tried to focus. The core, where the copy pointed toward the desk terminal. Use the map. It's marked now. But beware the black dot. That's not part of you. That's Titan itself. And it doesn't want to let you go. Suddenly, the floor groaned. The walls trembled. The lights turned blood-red core detected, the robotic voice said. Black entity approaching the copy grabbed Elias's hand. You have to run. A deep growl echoed from outside the shelter. Low and slow, the sound of something massive moving through the fog. Elias turned to the terminal. A new red mark had appeared far to the west. Signal core. He turned back to the copy. But it was gone. Only the helmet remained, rolling gently on the floor. Outside, the fog pulsed. Something was coming. Elias put his own helmet back on, locked the suit. Oxygen, 19%. He limped to the door, paused, then looked back at the words on the wall. Don't trust the green dot. He stepped out into the mist. The wind screamed louder now. The ground vibrated with every step of the black entity. In the distance, something huge moved. Bigger than a ship, bigger than a building. No eyes, no shape, just black mist pulling itself across the land. And it was coming for him. Elias ran. Toward the core. Toward the truth. Elias ran. The cold stabbed through his leg, but he didn't stop. His breath echoed inside his helmet. Behind him, the black fog moved like a wave, rolling, twisting, growing. It swallowed everything. Shelter 7 was gone. The ground shook with every second. The map on his visor showed one blinking red dot. Signal core, 2. 3 kilometers. That was his only hope. He crossed frozen hills and jagged black stones. Strange things lay buried in the ice. Pieces of metal, a broken satellite dish, what looked like half of a human arm. Elias didn't stop to look closer. The fog was gaining. The voice came back. Not through the comm, but inside his head. You were made for this. He stumbled. Who's speaking? No answer. Just that deep, strange voice that felt like it came from the sky and the ground at the same time. He kept moving. Minutes passed like hours. Then he saw it. A tower rising out of the ground, wrapped in cables and frost. It wasn't tall, but it pulsed with a red light from its base. A dome-shaped bunker stood beside it. Small, cracked open, half sunk into the ice. This was it. He climbed the short slope and ducked inside the bunker. Warmth. Silence. A long hallway led down. He limped through it, passing cracked screens and empty chairs. A door at the end waited, sealed shut. Beside it, a hand scanner blinked red. He placed his hand on it. The light turned green. Access granted. Welcome, Captain Elias Rain. The door hissed open. He stepped into the core room. It was round, cold, and glowing. In the center stood a strange machine. Tall, with curved arms and a sphere floating above it. The sphere was full of light, spinning slowly. A woman stood next to it. Dr. Mira Solan, again. But this one looked older, worn. Her face was pale, eyes tired. You made it, she said softly. Elias stopped. Are you the real one? She shook her head. No. I'm what's left of her. He didn't understand. She came here years ago, the copy said. She tried to stop the program. But Titan doesn't let anyone go. It copied her. Like it copied you. Like it copies everything. Elias stepped closer. So what is this place? The woman pointed to the sphere. This is the source. It's what DMU buried when they first found Titan alive. They built the signal tower to control the fog. To use it. But the fog learned too fast. It doesn't want control. It wants company. Elias stared at the machine. Then how do I escape? You don't, she said. Not the way you think. But you can wake up. Fully. Leave the dream. If you shut down the signal, the fog loses its grip. The loop ends. He moved toward the console. What happens to this version of me? The woman smiled. You fade. But the real you, the one inside the cryopod, is still alive. Still waiting. He stared at the switch. Just one lever. One movement. That's all. Suddenly, alarms screamed. The black fog had reached the entrance. It was here. A voice filled the room, low and endless. You are mine. The walls cracked. Darkness poured into the hallway. Elias grabbed the lever. His hands trembled. He looked back at the woman. Her face was calm. Do it. He pulled the switch. The machine screamed. The sphere pulsed. Light filled the room. The fog burst through the door. And everything went white. Silence. Then, air. Elias gasped hard, like a man pulled from underwater. His chest rose and fell, each breath sharp, desperate. His skin felt warm, almost burning. Light flooded his eyes. He blinked. Once. Twice. Above him was a ceiling, smooth, white, unfamiliar. A soft hum surrounded him, steady and clean, like a heartbeat in the walls. The hiss of depressurization faded. A faint robotic voice said, Revival complete. Subject, Captain Elias Rain. Cryopod 0317. He was awake, really awake. He lay inside a cryopod, thick glass rising open in front of him. Mist drifted from inside the chamber as warm air filled the room. A metal arm lifted away from his chest, disconnecting cables from his neck and arms. Cold sweat soaked his shirt. His muscles ached like they hadn't moved in years. He sat up slowly. Everything felt wrong. Not painful, just unfamiliar. As if the gravity itself had changed. The artificial lighting was bright but soft, and everything was quiet. Too quiet. His feet touched the floor. It was solid. No fog, no freezing wind, no Titan. He stumbled forward and grabbed the edge of the cryopod for balance. His legs trembled. His reflection flickered in the curved pod glass. Pale skin, bloodshot eyes, dark stubble on his jaw. His mind raced. The machine, the fog, the copies, the loop. Was it over? He looked around. The room stretched into a wide, circular chamber, lined with dozens of other cryopods. Most were dark. Some were lit in blue, running idle. A few glowed yellow, status unknown, but one was glowing green. His. Footsteps echoed behind him. He turned. A woman stepped through the doorway. Her face stopped him cold. Dr. Mirasolin. But not the one from the fog. Not the woman he found in the crashed pod. Not the memory simulation. This one was real. She looked older than he remembered. Her hair was streaked with gray now, pulled back in a tight braid. Her eyes were the same sharp blue, but softer, human, tired, and filled with something the other copies never had. Guilt Elias, she said softly. He stared at her. His throat was dry. His voice cracked. Is it you? She nodded. He took a step forward, then paused. Am I still inside? No, she said. You're out. He looked around again. At the clean walls, the hum of real machines, the weight of gravity pulling his chest down. Where am I? You're on board the Osiris, orbiting Saturn. We recovered you 23 hours ago. His chest tightened. How long was I under? Mira hesitated. 9 years. The words punched the air out of his lungs. He staggered back, leaned on the cryopod. 9 years in there. She nodded again in the loop. Titan's fog kept your consciousness running, simulation after simulation. Your brain formed the world inside it. We watched. But we couldn't reach you. He looked at her. Why? We didn't understand what the fog was. Not at first. We thought it was passive. That it could be controlled. But it grew. Grew, he repeated. She walked to a console and pulled up a screen. Data, waves, maps. The neural fog is alive. And it's learning. It used you to build its understanding of emotion, fear, memory, regret. It trapped you in your own pain. Because that's where the most data lives. Elias stared down at his hands. He remembered dying. Over and over. He remembered screaming in storms, watching himself fade away, waking up again, forgetting, running. What finally let me out? You did, Mira said. He looked up. You found the core. You rejected the system. You broke the pattern. But I didn't win. I just woke up. That's all it took, she said. The fog can't hold on to what no longer plays along. When you chose to leave, even knowing it meant your copy would vanish, you disconnected. He turned to the pod beside his. It was glowing green. Inside, a young man lay unconscious, no older than 20, pale, breathing slowly. A few fingers twitched. Elias stepped closer. The man's eyes fluttered, then opened. Panic flooded his face. He mouthed the words. Help me, Elias looked at Mira. There are more. We think the fog is reaching others, she said, pulling them into its dream through long-range signal leaks. Not just DMU, civilians, scientists, anyone exposed to the Titan broadcast system. Elias placed a hand on the pod glass. The boy inside looked just like he had, terrified, lost. He's still in it, isn't he? Mira nodded. Deep, Elias turned to her. I'm going back in. She shook her head. You just escaped. I won't forget this time, he said, and I know what to look for now. Mira hesitated, then tapped the console. You won't be the same when you come out. I'm not the same now, he said, and someone pulled me out when I couldn't see the door. He looked back at the boy. No one should wake up alone. The pod next to him opened, and Elias stepped forward, toward the fog, toward the next rescue.